Good morning, everyone, and well, it's morning here in California, and welcome back to Wellness Minutes. I have a very special guest today, so I'm with Kristen LaRosa from ADP. How are you, Kristen?
I'm good, Alan. How are you?
Well, good. I know you're on the East Coast. The West Coast is finally out of cold weather. It's been in the 80s for the last few days. How are you doing in New Jersey?
Oh, I feel for you. I feel for you. I think we're creeping into the 40s today, or perhaps the low 50s, and I'm starting to see some sun, so that's good.
Okay, well, get out your really small violin for me, but don't worry about it. It'll get warm in New Jersey by June or July, okay?
Okay, that's good, and then it'll get cold again in September.
Well, I'm going to tell, we have, our members and our friends who watch these videos know that we do these kind of raw and we cut to the quick and they're fast answers. But I know someone in my office said, wait, we're doing Wellness Minutes with ADP. Like, how does that make any sense? And I thought, well, I thought it was natural that people would understand this. But as you guys are obviously the go-to for payroll, but people don't know you do more than payroll, and there's a lot of HR and you cover a lot of other subjects. And of course, one of the things I want to talk about with you guys today is time management, because I just don't think owners or managers should be doing payroll, right? They have other things to do.
Absolutely, and I'm speaking specifically for some of our smaller business clients who we support, but we want, our goal is for the owners to really take the time to invest into their business, which is their dream, and leave the payroll. We also do time and attendance and HR compliance to ADP. Aside from the time it takes to run a payroll, to understand the requirements associated with that, there's also a ton of compliance requirements that employers have to adhere to at the federal, state, and local level. So allowing a company like ADP to take ownership of those responsibilities can really free up a number of hours per week to allow small business owners to really dedicate the time to building their business.
Well, and though that is so well said. So two things you said. One, it frees up the hours. There's so many hours in the week. I don't care if you're, as an owner, working 7 days a week, there's not enough time for everything, right?
No, there's absolutely not enough time. We've had small business owners that were literally keeping time on pen and paper, taking that time information, transferring it into their payroll, doing the number crunching, the hours worked, and the payroll calculations by hand. So that in and of itself was taking time. And the other thing that it was doing, which could be obvious, is that it was leading to a lot of inaccuracies, in doing these things by hand.
Okay, so now it's up to 3 things on my list I got as I write I'm always doing my cheat notes when we talk, but
I keep going.
Your team does the payroll, obviously, for my association. And every time it comes up in my QuickBooks, I look at it and go, oh God, I'm so glad ADP is doing this, because I don't want to spend the hour or 2 hours a day, and now it's 10 hours a week, and now it's 500 hours a year, now it's starting to talk about real money, and my time is best spent speaking to spas and vendors. So God bless ADP. I'm so glad that you guys are there for me. Number 2, the errors are huge. You don't get the tax man findeth you when you make errors, and it is so complicated. It's just easy to make errors today, right, Kristen?
100%. It's easy to make errors, and it's really hard, I think, for our busy business owners to recognize what those errors are and issue spot, and that's from a tax perspective, that's from a payroll compliance perspective. So you're thinking about, and then this is the employment lawyer and me talking about, you're thinking about wage and hour requirements, overtime calculations, overtime rules. Then you're thinking about HR compliance requirements. And, again, this is like a 3-tiered process, because you have the federal requirements, then the state requirements, and then the potentially local requirements. So you have ADP at least to give you the information that you need to help make those right compliance decisions that, are in the best interest and protect your employees. So that's another thing that I would add to your list.
Okay, I'm getting 2 things. I'm getting a headache from hearing you say it, because I know how true all that stuff is. But in the same vein, I feel good because I've given that stuff to you guys to do, and it seems to be perfect. And one thing we don't talk a lot about, but I'm going to mention it for the people listening as well. Your portal is fabulous. Like, I can go in and whip up my W-2s. I can look at the payroll on the fly. I can look at the payroll from last year. I love the portal. It is so well organized and so easy to get to stuff. I mean, my hair is short for hereditary reasons. I didn't pull it out because I can't find things on your portal, okay? The last thing I want to mention, you talked about the compliance issue. You do not get, as a business owner, I don't care if you have 1 employee or 1,000, you do not get to skip compliance. Someone is going to call on you at some time, and they're going to want to look at all that stuff that you have, the charts, the graphs, the data, your employees are all getting the right stuff right. It's really critical.
It's absolutely critical. A lot of the smaller employers think that maybe they're immune from liability because they don't have the number of employees that would subject them to coverage. That's not always going to be the case. And as you know, in America, we're a very litigious society. And then we also have the agencies that are looking to enforce the laws, rules, and regulations. So, I would say that absolutely nobody's immune from it. And there are a lot of employees, even in the small business. You think that it's a small business, maybe family members, good friends, and you have, a good relationship and a nice dynamic, but you can't always trust in that and have faith in that. So you really have to kind of take those extra steps to protect yourself.
Well, all I can say is I love everything about ADP, so I'm glad that you're around for us and for the people who sign up through the association as well.